First of all, this is who I am. My name is Mike Fleming. I'm a copywriter, an advertising creative, and a verbal identity writer. These are some of the guys that I'm working for at the moment. Anybody in from Vodafone? No, good. Me and Jamie have just done a campaign for O2 on Facebook, which I'm not going to talk about during this, this presentation, but you can ask me about it at the tea and coffee stage, which is next. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to do 4 things for you. I'm going to tell you four key issues about online language. The first one is how to build your brand online using words. I'm going to give you my 4 golden rules about that. The second point is how to get people to look at your website or your online ad. Number 3, building your personal brand using social networks. Jimmy's touched a little bit on that in his presentation. I'll expand on it. And the 4th one is, getting this frog out of my throat, is some online writing tips for you. Okay. So, how to build your brand online using words. These are my 4 golden rules. The first golden rule is define your brand up front. Okay. All corporate brands, all those logos that you saw earlier on the first slide there, they're all big corporate brands. They've all got very clear central organizing principles for their brand. There's no reason why your company, big or small, should also have a central organizing principle. So let's visitors to your site, readers of your blog, fans of your Facebook page, and everyone on Twitter know what you stand for. Okay? So find your core thought. It's a word or a phrase that sums up what your business is about, and most importantly, what makes it different from everybody else's business. And then you can use that thought, that phrase, that sentence, consistently to define all your online activity, your online PR and advertising, your website, all your tweets, your blogs, your LinkedIn profile, and your search engine optimization. Over time, that core thought will become the kind of emotional reaction people have in their head when they see your name or see your logo. They'll think, oh, right, they stand for X, Y, Z. I like them, I trust them because they're being consistent about what they're saying. A bit like these guys. Their central organizing principle is all to do with victory. Okay? Everything about that brand is victory. Okay? You never see the word victory in anything they promote or do or communicate, but the victory is at the center of the brand. Nike is the Greek goddess of victory. The tick is an affirmation of having done something right. Just do it. Their erstwhile strapline is a call to action to go out there and be victorious. And if you look at their online activity, it's all about being victorious, but not really talking about it. So this is their golf website. Faster goes farther, so that's about winning. This is their marathon website. This is about 2 Nike athletes who both won the London Marathon this year. Over there, you've got their basketball website, which shows you how to do professional moves. They've got professional basketball players on there showing you how they get round opponents, and that's about being victorious. And up in the top left-hand corner, you've got Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo asking you to write the future, to go out there and be victorious. So that's my first point about defining your brand. My second point is that online copy is king. And I would go further and actually say, in fact, that online copy is the entire kingdom. It's a word-driven world. So don't let your designer, your web designer, sorry, any web designers in? Good, okay. Don't let your web designer bully you into having a minimalist-looking site that's all pictures and very few words. And worst of all, don't let anybody convince you to build a site in Flash because Google can't see it. Because what Google does, the Google spider bots, the spiders, they look for words, they look for key terms, and that's how they search websites. So if you've got the fewer words you have on your website, the less chance they have of finding you. And the fewer words you use, the harder it is to tell your story and reveal your true brand personality. It's making it more difficult for people to befriend you and making it easier for them not to buy from you. So this copy that I'm talking about in your website doesn't have to be in standard pages like your homepage or About Us or Our Services. It can be in blogs, it can be in article reviews, it can be in competitions or product reviews. It can be really anywhere on your site. And the richer and more varied the content, the more rewarding for your visitors, including the Google spiders. But always remember that it should consistently define what your brand's core thought is. So pick a few key words that you want to own, that you want your brand to stand for, and then just go to town on them. Rule 3 is lead with what you do, not with who you are. And that really means that your logo or your company name is not the most important thing on your website. It's actually what you do is more important because that's what the Google spiders are looking for. So it might seem slightly counterintuitive, but making your company name, your logo, or most prominent element of your homepage or email marketing campaign is not the best way to promote your brand online. If you ask any ad man, and I'm one, they'll tell you to lead with benefits and not features. So for example, a company called The Doghouse, do we put the company name up front, Doghouse, or do we put the benefit, quick training tips for busy dog owners? Okay, that's actually what people are interested in finding, and that's what they will type into the Google search box. Of course, if you can make your brand benefit also your company name, all the better. Stand up, Mr. John Richardson, Break Power Blueprint, whose company name is also his brand benefit. He has a service where he's trying to reduce golfers' handicaps. People who want to break par, so he's made that his company name. So he's got a 2-for-1 deal going on there. And rule number 4 is stop the skimmers. Okay, this is really a PR, an old PR trick, but it works online as well. It's basically called the inverted triangle of copy. People read content online the way they read newspapers, so use this simple trick. Load the top of your blog article or your homepage with all the important information, and then leave anything else which is less important to the end, because people might not get there. And write to be read as well. Break up text. This is so simple, it's unbelievable. It's amazing how many websites don't do this. Break up text by using bold, by indenting paragraphs, using bullet points, subheads, and most importantly of all, use short sentences. This guy, he's an author, handsome chap called Stephen Berlin Johnson. He's actually studied book sales on Amazon.com, and he's worked out that the books with shorter sentences and fewer complex words sell more copies. Complex words to him are words that have more than 2 syllables. Okay? So adjective would be a complex word for him. He is going to start writing shorter and simpler words from now, sentences and words from now on, and maybe we should too online, because I think it makes your website easier to read. So how do we actually get people to your site or to look at it, or your online ad? You've worked out your brand's core thought, you've done all the stuff I've been talking about, and you've used short sentences just like Stephen Berlin Johnson's doing. How can we actually use the power of words to get people eyeballing it? Well, we use something called search engine optimization using keywords, and Richard Clement, who's on after lunch, is going to go into a lot more detail than me about this, but just very quickly, it's called chasing the long tail, but it's actually nothing new. It's the same technique that advertisers have been using for years and years and years. It's all about being relevant, about being targeted. It's about trying to get into the head of your potential customers and work out what terms they're putting into the Google search boxes. And it's often not the most obvious ones. I'm going to show you 2 brilliant examples now, 2 little videos of how using words and a bit of lateral thought perfectly targeted the desired audience. The first one is from the American training shoe manufacturer Converse. Hopefully this will work.
What's the first thing you do when you go online? You go to Google. Google is the new gateway to culture, and Google Trends shows us the zeitgeist, what people care about and when. At this very moment, a teenager is typing into this little box what they're thinking, what they're looking for, questions they're too scared to ask anybody else, about moments in culture that are happening that day. People everywhere on their computers asking a question. Any brand can buy these keywords. The more competition, the higher the price. So why are no brands buying keywords teenagers are actually searching? This insight led us to our big idea. Be the first brand to build a campaign around low competition, low cost searches that connect us directly to our audience. So here's how it works. It's Friday and the script spelling bee is tonight. People are searching for it. We know this from the Google zeitgeist. So we buy AdWords on Google, but we do it differently. Instead of trying to sell people something, we say something conversational, something interesting, and lots of people click. And it's cheap. Now we give them the Converse take on a spelling bee.
This spelling bee works a bit different. This is the first ever search engine spelling bee. How it works is when I say the first word, go back to your search engine and type it into the search box. If you got it right, you'll see an ad on the right-hand side of the page for round 2. Are you ready? The first word is ludicrous.
In this case, we sent people back to use the Google search box to play the game. We turned an advertising space into a game space. We leaned into frame. This was a moment in culture, and we brought Converse into it. So we decided to make dozens of these sites, launching new ones each week, and all the sites are connected together so people can explore them. Here are some more highlights. On June 20th, all the top searches on Google have to do with summer solstice, first day of summer, but nobody's buying ads. We make an optimistic statement, perfectly suited to just this one day. For this one moment in time, we become super relevant. Teenage boys are having a self-conscious, private moment searching how to talk to a girl on Google. We enlist a girl who is clearly out of your league to provide some just friendly advice.
Okay, so I would be right here, and other hot girls that I'm telling you about that I'm gonna like get you to would be
Kid learns
here.
a lesson.
She's really modest, isn't she?
And we know teenagers are searching how to kiss. We created something to help them chill out. So what we created here is the first ever pure branding campaign using Google AdWords. A media buy that isn't really a media buy. It's a way to tie Converse directly to consumer interest, one-to-one, and we only pay for interested visitors. The result is a platform that lets us truly disrupt, to be hyper-relevant, to simply be there for our audience during cultural moments. And it all works as one big path leading back to Converse.com. It's been so successful that we're not stopping. As long as things are happening in culture, Converse will be there with a Domination website.
So they basically used low value keywords to create games on Google and used the Google search engine as a game mechanism. It's brilliant, very cost effective campaign. I've obviously pressed the wrong button. Okay. So here's another brilliant example of how to think about the target audience and work out what they're typing into Google. Okay, this guy's called Alec Brownstein, and he's an ad creative in New York, and he wanted a new job, but he didn't advertise himself as Alec Brownstein, New York ad creative, because lots of people were doing that. Well, not Alec Brownstein, but New York ad creative. He targeted the creative directors at agencies he wanted to work for, but he didn't send them an email, because these guys get hundreds of emails every day from ad creatives looking for jobs in their agencies. What he did was he simply bought their names as Google AdWords because he knew what an egotistical bunch of people, creative directors, advertising creative directors are, and how often they Google themselves, okay? And I know, because I'm an advertising creative director. And he only paid 15 cents per click. So when the creative directors Googled their own name, they got this message from him asking for a job. So this is to Ian Riefenstahl. So it says, Googling yourself is a lot of fun. Hiring me is fun too. And a link to his website, to his homepage. So he got 4 interviews off it. He targeted 5 people. He got 4 interviews off it, 2 job offers, and 1 new job. Okay, the pay-per-click campaign cost him just $6, and it netted him a $150,000 job. How's that for return investment simply by using words? Okay, he chased the long tail. He was specific, focused, and targeted in his use of words, and very creative too. And he used words to do it. No pictures, just words. Richard Clement, who's speaking after lunch, will show you how you can do it too. But he didn't stop there. Not content with his flash new job, Alec then made a little film and uploaded it to YouTube. And he used social media to promote his personal brand. In a minute, I'll show you how you can do it too, but let's have a look at his little film. So we put that online, not just to say, look at me, I've got a new job, but to show how creative he was, because that's his job. That's his core thought for his brand. Look, I know I'm an advertising creative. I thought about using AdWords creatively. And you can too. You can build your own personal brand online by using things like WordPress blogs, your Facebook page, your Twitter account, and your LinkedIn profile. You probably think, what's the value of actually doing that? Well, I'll show you. This is a quote from Tom Peters, the famous American business guy. To be in business today, our most important job is to be the head marketeer for the brand called you. So think of yourself as a brand. Think of yourself as a corporation. What is a personal brand? It's actually really simple. It's you. Okay? If you've got an online profile, if you've got a Twitter account, if you've got a LinkedIn account, if you write a blog, if you've got a profile on a website, you already have a personal brand. It's up to you to manage it. Because your personal brand allows you to differentiate yourself by consistently talking about what makes you unique in the same way brands talk about what makes them unique.